2. Do you ship Suck It with Yuri? 3. I dare you make Yuri kiss Natsuki.
I don't think Natsuki and Yuri are suited for each other at all. It seems like they barely get along as is. I'm trying to make a good impression, so I won't force them to do anything. But it couldn't hurt to ask, right? Hey Yuri, Natsuki.
What now?
Care to take a dare?
Huh? What do they want us to... No freaking way! That's really rough, not.
Sorry, dude. Looks like it ain't happening.
You're darn right it's not!
4. Are you subscribed to PewDiePie? 5. Can you subscribe to PewDiePie?
Don't worry about PewDiePie. We already confirmed he's doomed. It's fun to think he can keep this up, but it just won't last.
6. Do you know Hatsune Miku?
I know of Hatsune Miku. You can't really say you know someone that doesn't exist. She's a little better than a mascot with a voice. She's not even really a character. Her traits are all just imposed by her fans. That's all there is to her, like a Jinka that can sing.
7. What's your favorite game?
I told you before.
Nick Breyer. Let's see. What's your favorite favored D&D class?
Well, I already talked about class, but how about I share some of the other aspects? As far as race goes, I like the smaller types since they can get away with more stuff. Dwarves, gnomes, and halflings all suit me fine. But I also like to run chaotic neutral, and that's less common for some of those races. Exceptions always exist, but dwarves can fit that description more readily. Background depends more on the character I'm making, so I pick whatever fits my idea at the time. But still, I prefer being DM over everything else.
I assume you've read Discworld books. If you haven't, go do that ASAP. If so, do you have a favorite?
Discworld, huh? No, never heard of it. We can't look into it just now, but I'll let you know what I think later.
Oh, and also, it suggested the Higurashi anime to Yuri, but after reading her AMA, I think she might enjoy the VN more. If you could pass that along, it would be appreciated.
Hey, you think I'd let you recommend the VN to Yuri and not check it out myself? That'll be one more for the buy-in.
Crouton Cringeboy13. What do you think about bread?
Bread alone doesn't have much to offer. Luckily, there are tons of ways you can spice it up. None of which I care to discuss right now.
Rakani-san. Mr. Shiro, pleased to meet you. I'm Rakani-san, or CPG Yuri for my friends. A fan, follower, and friend of Yuri. I hope you are enjoying your time in the Literature Club and everyone is treating you well. My questions. 1. We got some info that says you are a old school gamer. What's your opinion about the awesome Sonic the Hedgehog?
Apart from what I've already said, I think Sonic earned his place in gaming history. When his series first started, there was nothing else like it, and that hasn't really changed with time. It's kind of a shame with how things ended up, but it's far from hopeless.
2. Do you think Sonic Mania is a true successor of the old Sonic games of the Genesis / Mega Drive era? Whatever.
Yes, I would say it's a true successor. There's no way it couldn't be. It has more than just nostalgia going for it. There's a lot of heart in that game.
3. Green Hill Zone, Emerald Hill Zone, Angel Island Zone, or Mushroom Hill Zone?
Oh, those zones, I'll take Emerald Hill, thanks. Sonic 2 is the sweet spot of the first series. It got over some of the original game's awkwardness, but didn't overdo it like 3 and Knuckles. Not to say those weren't good games, just that Sonic 2 nailed the formula best.
4. How you will write a good villain in a story. Let's say, converting Yuri into a villain possessed by an evil emerald in a Sonic story.
So, are you making an evil crystal take over our poor dear Yuri? How you write that villain depends on the level of takeover we're talking about. If it's completely controlling her, then her personality won't be much of a factor. If it's bending her to its will, then some aspects would probably get suppressed, like her shyness. If it's occupying her body as a vessel, she may be able to fight back for control. That's a tricky situation, but once you decide exactly how the position works, you should be able to write fitting behavior.
5. If your ego lets you call other members, can you tell to Tiffany, thank you for helping Yuri and MC fixing their problem. I'm very happy how they managed the situation and proud of everyone, especially Yuri, and Tiffany won a place of honor in the fanfiction I'm writing of the club.
Oh, what's that about my ego? I don't have a problem letting you say thanks. Hey, Tiff!
Sup?
You're being thanked for your efforts.
Oh, that little mess? It was nothing. I might have given them a small push, but they reconciled with each other all on their own. I was just trying to be supportive, but you're welcome anyway. Gosh, I didn't think I'd end up in a fanfic that soon. Hey, Shiro, it sounds like they don't quite trust you.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
And last, a little friendly warning. I hope you are not looking at Yuri only for her notorious physical attributes. Yuri is more than that. She's polite, friendly, awesome, very shy, intelligent, poetic, and amazing in general. So if you try to do something wrong to her, I will find you, and I will test if your skin is as thick as you say it is.
Well, Rakani-san, don't get me wrong. I do find Yuri attractive, but I'm not the sort to get infatuated, and I know how to behave myself. I'd like to get to know her better first, so we'll see what happens. Just don't think I only like her for her looks, okay?
Valiant AMM. What's the craziest moment you've had in a D&D game?
This is almost hard to pick. Every game is memorable for something. But there was this one campaign I hosted that got sidetracked like you wouldn't believe. I was the DM, of course, and I had laid out a ton of plans for the adventure. Before the heroes could get started, they got in a bar fight that escalated out of control. They spent an entire session in the brawl, and trying to evade arrest afterward. Next session, they were all in jail and attempted to escape. They barely got out and spent the rest of it on the run. Third session, they were caught again, but in a different town. There, they were held to trial. And somehow managed to weasel out of any implications. There were way too many nat 20s for persuasion that day. So we didn't start with anything I'd prepared until almost a month later. It was beautiful. What game genres are you into? I already shared some of the gaming genres I like. And the ones I dislike, too. Sorry, man, this subject's tapped.
Do you do any tabletop gaming other than D&D?
D&D is most of what I do for tabletop, but there are other games we play between campaigns. Munchkin is always good. Catan is nice for a change of pace. My group tends to prefer games with more strategy involved. Random chance isn't as engaging or satisfying, and more often rage-inducing.
It has been way too long since I played Munchkin. What kind of things do you write about? Do you have any experience with poetry?
My writing is typically fantasy-oriented, usually for campaigns. I haven't dabbled much with poetry, except to make cryptic riddles sometimes. World building is my strong suit, and what I like to write best.
Vermont Toxin. Yeah, I guess I'll bite. 1. What's your highest level of gallows humor?
Since I'm not easily offended, gallows humor doesn't bother me. You can make light of almost anything with the correct mindset. It's a personal choice not to care. Some jokes are darker than others, but they're still jokes. People just need to chill out.
2. What old school consoles do you own?
My console collection is pretty impressive, I must say. I have all the major ones covered and some of the minor ones as well. Nintendo, Sega, Sony, you name it, I probably have it. They're all in working order, too.
3. What do you think of satirizing tragedies?
According to a reliable source, it takes 22.3 years for something tragic to become funny.
That would be South Park, thanks.
But if you can't resist the urge for satire, just be conscious of your audience. Reading the room is important for telling jokes in the first place, but especially so where tragedy is concerned.
4. Since you made a thick skin pun. Do you think the topic of obesity has been watered down so much in PSAs that you feel people suffering from anorexia need just as much discussion as obesity?
Anorexia is a less common problem than obesity, but a worthy issue all the same. One may hog the spotlight, but they're both important. I don't think anorexia needs equal attention, though. You could say the problems don't have equal weight.
5. Have you thought about making a game that's a secret PSA to spread awareness to issues misinterpreted / mishandled by the corporate media, drug abuse, mass murder, mental health, etc.?
I'm not too interested in mixing politics with my hobbies. Making a game centered around a theme like that can be done, but it takes finesse. If the message overtakes the content, it devalues the whole thing.
6. What was your weirdest nightmare you ever had?
I don't dream too often, but my weirdest nightmare was actually fairly recent. It's hard to describe the setting. I can't say it took place in a specific location. I was conscious, but I couldn't feel my body. I saw static, like from an old TV. There were random flashes of color and this roaring noise that surrounded me. It got louder and louder, filling my mind until I couldn't take it anymore. It was so startling that I woke up. That was, come to think of it, the morning of the festival. Go figure.
7. Thoughts on the people of the club, what we people refer to as the Dokies.
I already shared my thoughts about the others. The nickname's kinda dumb, though. I mean, come on. Dokies? Really?
Mackling. Sup, dude? 1. Order Alliance.
I played both sides of the war, not that it made much difference. I had a little more fun as Horde, if only for playing as something non-human. What's the point of fantasy if you're just going to be a normie?
2. You tried to wear contact lenses?
I talked about contacts a bit earlier. Even if I was comfortable with them, I think I'd prefer glasses. Not to promote a stereotype, but they do have an intellectual air.
3. What kind of manga do you prefer? Natsuki likes slice of life type.
My interests are more shonen-oriented. Slice of life is a little too uneventful for me. And too often cutesy as well. It can be good, but it takes a skilled author to keep it interesting. Shonens always have something going on, rarely a dull moment. And when there is, you know it's setting up for something.
4. Have you played any horror games? I would highly recommend Amnesia and Soma if you didn't play them yet. Besides great horror part, they have a great plot.
I was all over Amnesia and Soma. I liked fictional games before it was cool. Amnesia was more refined than any episode of Penumbra, but I've seen all their good work. However, a lot of horror games are pretty lousy, so I don't pick them up unless I hear good reviews. But that's kind of the nature of the indie scene in general.
5. What do you think about club members so far? I know why you are here. Just be careful and try to not hurt girls' feelings, okay? Especially Yuri. She's a very fragile girl.
Well, the club members are great so far. I don't have much more to say about them. Don't worry, I won't step on anyone's toes. Especially not Yuri's.
6. Traditional chibi question. Yep, someone drew you in chibi style. Have you seen it? Have a nice day.
If there's a chibi of me too, I'll ask Monica about it later. And I'll add it in... here.
Hanon7. Shiro AMA. 1. Since you taped and edited all of the other AMAs, most of my questions are going to be about that, okay?
Oh, there's Hanon. I was wondering when you'd show up. If that's what you asked about, then I guess it has to be okay.
If I'm not mistaken, like every other question from the rest of the AMA is from Hanon. 2. Who is taping and editing this one? If it's you, will you make yourself look really awesome?
Ellie's in charge of the recording, but I'll be editing it afterward. I see no reason to make myself more awesome. Seriously, how could you ever improve on this?
3. Do you consider Pokemon an RPG? Can you beat my 5th gen team of Hippowdon, Titar, Aaron, Nosepest, Phanpy, and Talo?
Pokemon is a unique kind of RPG, but an RPG all the same. Seeing that Talo, I expect you're running fear tactics, which means that Aaron's level 1 with Sturdy, right? You must be so popular online. Unfortunately for you, I know answers to such cheap tricks. Expecting the worst from the rest of that team, I'm sure I can make an effective counter even out of mons I already raised.
4. Whose poems did you like the best? I would guess Yuri, since her writing is the most romantic.
Of the poems I heard at the festival, only Monica's was any good. That's not to say they aren't well written, just that the delivery was all over the place. Yuri shouted hers at the top of her lungs, Allie's reading felt totally flat, Yuri panicked and lost momentum on hers, and Natsuki was just plain pissed. I got more enjoyment reading them out of the booklet, but I don't blame them for losing their cool.
5. You've taken on a lot of club responsibility before your very first day, and yet hardly anyone seems to like you, or are you trying to prove yourself?
Helping with the AMAs wasn't that big of a responsibility. It was something I knew how to do, so I offered. If that helps improve my worth to others, then great.
6. What interested you about the club? Going by Tiff's description, it sounded like a colossal failure. Did you just want to be around fellow losers, plus Monica?
The reading was indeed a colossal failure. Obviously, that didn't stop me. I don't think they're all losers, though. I guess I felt I'd seen them at their worst, so I was curious to see their best as well.
And 7. Tiff's AMA. 1. It's cute how you and Natsuki worked together on that hair prank. When did you two become friends?
Don't jump to conclusions. The hair prank was spur of the moment. And it certainly wasn't Natsuki's idea, even if she picks the color. We're not friends either, barely acquaintances.
2. Were you hearing the same thing I was? Sounds like Tiff is looking for a relationship and will give anyone a chance.
So, you think Tiff sounded a little desperate, huh? I guess she might be, with how little reception she gets around here. It's kind of a shame with how nice she is. People just aren't that interested in her. 3. How has dating life been for you at insert school name here? Is it normal for most students to be single? Our school's dating scene is no different than any others. Most of the normies have paired up by now. The ones that haven't are exceptional. I suppose you could say this club is full of incredibly exceptional people.
4. Seems like we got MCX Salary, though we all know childhood hookups don't last. Tiff X Moni, and you with either Natsuki or Yuri. Oh, right, a question. How cute is Tiff X Moni?
Do we have to recruit an 8th member to satisfy your shipping needs? It's hard to imagine how Tiff and Monica would look together. It'd probably be cute, if one of them wasn't admittedly straight. I guess Tiffica sunk before it could ever sail.
5. In a VN, how would you go about conquering a girl like Tiff? She seems to be hiding a lot from the player.
Conquering? Interesting word choice. Tiff seems like the fun-loving type. You'd have to keep up together with her. Of course, if she is that desperate, you might not have to try very hard at all. If you really like her, then it shouldn't matter what she's hiding, hopefully.
6. Are you also an underclassman? Would you want to be the next club president?
Sorry to say, I am not an underclassman. My stay in this club won't be very long. Seems it just won't survive to next school year, though I would enjoy being in charge.
Hanon7. MC's AMA. 1. Admit it, you came because of this guy too, didn't you? Everyone in the club loves him. Yes, even him. Back off, he's property of Sayori.
You think I joined just to hang out with our blandest member? It's great, he's well liked, but I won't pry him away from Sayori. I'd say we have friend potential, but that's all.
2. Is the relationship you have with your 2D conquests the same as the one you see with MC and Sayori?
I'm not sure what you mean. Are you saying they have a VN-style relationship? I haven't seen enough of them together to really say. I wouldn't bet on it, though. VNs have a tendency to romanticize things. Real relationships are never like that.
3. A lot of people were criticizing MC for being dense, but when you're an MC and a VN, do you prefer your character dull and bland or a heroic Chad?
Similarly, I think Chad protagonists are just as unrealistic. Babe magnets like that don't exist. I prefer believable protags. If they have to be bland so the player can self-insert, so be it. That's just the nature of the genre.
4. Have you played Katama Shoujo? What did you think of MC's girl rankings, and do you agree?
Well, of course I played Katama Shoujo, and I can tell Hal he hasn't. Those descriptions were a dead giveaway. He did alright at being objective. Without actually knowing the girls, he tried to be fair. Can't say I couldn't play favorites so easily.
5. Noticing that MC didn't have an impression on Tiff or you, can you give us your own thoughts on the club members? Impersonations work too.
We've been over my thoughts on the others, and I can't argue with the impressions Hallie did. It'd be pointless to impersonate myself, so that just leaves Tiff. Let me try. Heyo, sorry I'm late, y'all. I just couldn't find the door in time. If I knew her better, maybe I could improve on that.
No, you pretty much nailed it.